Good morning. Welcome to a new Lambda class daily for the Ethereum consensus client. I will very quickly go search for the YouTube link. Got it. All right, let's do this. Fernando, do you want to go first?
Yes. For my part, Friday, I was kind of facing some conflict between the new library, the SSD library, and the Rust part, especially in the block, in the execution pilot, because there were the Rust part binary and the elixir part list of bytes. So Martin suggested that it would be better to have the same kind of type between those implementations. So I changed that. The same happened for the transitions. That is a list of binaries. I was in the previous version. It was recorded as a list of bytes. So I also changed that. It worked then. Also, Martin also suggested that we decide to add the, the test for comparing the the RAS part and the LXC part in order to see that those decoding and encoding were the same. The encoding part worked perfect, but on the decoding part, the the struct that is returned for the library of Rust is not the same because the Rust part doesn't handle the bit Ds and bit vectors. It just returns a binary. Whereas the C part does that. So that is kind of different. So I try to clean that receive the Rust part, sanitizing that similar to the YAML file, and with that the test pass. I'm not sure if that's the correct approach. I also brought the hash marker root for the because I added a new type. So maybe in an SPR we're necessary to fix that. Yeah, that was the you are on mute.
Thank you so much. That's great. That's many updates. The only comment that I will probably do is, on the one hand, congratulations on getting everything working in Elixir. If I get this right, the only problem you're having right now is not with the new version, but with the older version, like the Rust NIF version. Is that correct? Or are you having troubles in the Elixir version as well due to Rust?
Yeah, the problem was that the Martin suggested that the types should be the same, a binary
Hmm.
and not a list of bytes. So and with
Okay.
that, I think everything is fixed, so it's ready for another review.
Okay, that's awesome. I will review that today. Um, yeah, and also like we don't need to wait for Martin's experiment. I think that we can do that after everything is merged. So thank you for continue working on that. That's an amazing job. All right, the next one is Tomas.
Okay, last Friday I added the config and presets for Denev, or at least worked on merging the PR of that. Um, I also added a fork, started work on adding support for the gossip uh, gossip protocol IDs for Denev, and also started moving or updating the containers to the newer versions of Denev. And we also merged quite a bit of PRs about updating the current code to the latest version of the specs along with the spec tests. Yeah, and today I'm gonna keep working on updating the containers.
That's perfect. Thank you for that. There's plenty of containers changing, aren't there?
I think they are not that many, but depending on how we do the change, we might need to change other types. Like for example, if only the block's body changes, that also changes the block and the signed block because each contain the changed version.
Right. That makes sense. We should maybe think if there's an easier way to do that, but sometimes you just need to do the work. Unfortunately, thank you for taking care of that. All right. As for my updates, last Friday I spent most of the day preparing an internal talk for Lambda about the Ethereum consensus. And afterwards, I continued with the like the validator specs review to make a list of features that we need to have for the MVP if we want to add validator features. So I will continue with that today. My goal is to at least have every issue in GitHub so that we can start working on that. And then maybe tomorrow work on a roadmap, but that shouldn't be too big. I think that the most concrete goal is having the issues in place. So I think that's it for me. Do we have any final comments or questions before finishing the daily?
Yeah, I think I will need another issue. I don't know
All
if there's
right.
another priority or.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk after the daily about that. Thank you,
Mhm.
Fernando. All right. If that's everything, then we can finish for today. Thank you all for joining. See you all tomorrow.